This is my third time trying to record this opening. I didn't realize life would be this hard. Hi, my name is Xanna Renae, and this is my journey towards authorhood. I wanted to document my journey towards authorhood here on YouTube so I could look back at where I started and how I started, and so I could see really how I grew through the years and how things changed for me. And I also wanted to document this for other beginning authors who were just starting out on their journey so that we might be able to walk this road together. So these are some of the first few things I've learned as I've started making the transition to being a full-time author. So I've learned that people don't take you seriously at first for the longest time. And you always hear how people never take authors seriously, or people who are wanting to become an author seriously. But you don't realize how truly real it is until it actually happens. And you're like, oh, wow, like, really? You think that? Really? You said that to me? Really? You think I'm throwing my life away? Or really? You think I'm doing something insanely foolish? Or you can't wait to watch me fail? Like, wow. And so that was really one of the first hurdles of doing this, is climbing over that initial fear of, oh, are these people right? Am I actually going to fail? Am I going to succeed? Am I going to get to prove these people wrong? Or are they going to get to prove me right? And it was really scary. But I slowly overcame that first hurdle. And after that, it has not become easier. Because every road and every journey has hurdles, one after another. The next hurdle I faced was financial fear. Now, I work from home and I teach online, so I didn't really have or face too much of that financial fear that some other people face as they decide to make the transition from whatever they're doing to authorship. And I'm slowly doing it. I'm not acting like a crazy person and jumping all in all at once and quitting my day job. And no, I'm not doing that, and this is not me encouraging anyone to do that. In fact, this is me discouraging anyone from doing that as they want to pursue authorship. If anything, I've put in more hours at my day job. I teach English online, and so with doing that, I'm building a cushion, a nice stable cushion for myself, so that when I do decide to publish my first book, or my first several books, because your first book is never going to explode. It's never going to be your biggest moneymaker, from what I've heard. That isn't also me telling you not to publish a book, or that you're going to be dirt poor forever. It's just me being realistic with what I'm thinking. So I'm building a cushion, a nice steady cushion, so that when I climb up those first rungs of this ladder, of this journey, that if I fall, I'm not going to break my back or my bank. Because that's the other thing, is that I am, in this moment, not only taking the road to authorship, but I'm in the self-publishing lane. So that's the precarious lane I'm choosing to drive my little life car in. And so I will be footing the bill for everything that normally a publishing company would sometimes do. The things that they do, that they take cuts from your paychecks for. So I'll be paying for book cover art, for editing, for printing the book, for all of those big things that go into publishing a book. I'll be doing it. I'll be doing all of it. In this moment, that's what I've come to the decision on in my research and everything. The next point that I've kind of come to, the next hurdle, is what idea do you run with first? Because normally authors, or writers, in my case I've been a writer for many, many, many years. I've published free work online. writing fan stories, writing my own stories and publishing them online, along with being published in a few journals, contest journals. So I've won a few competitions, some writing competitions. I'll pat myself on the back. Woo. And actually those wins and things like that kind of helped ease my family, being like, all right, so Xanna knows what she's doing. Like, people recognize that she can write. You know, she knows how to form a sentence one after another. Kind of lost my train of thought. Ideas. What ideas do you follow? Train of thought. That's exactly the point. Is you get so sidetracked by every single flashy idea that comes into your brain, and what do you do with all of them? Which one do you pick? Which one is going to be a good first book? And that was something I've been struggling with for months, as I wrote an entire manuscript and edited it and realized that it wasn't my first book that I was going to publish. And that was really scary. Taking this idea that I'd spent weeks curating, plotting, planning, forming out in my brain, and then the 6 to 9 months I spent writing that baby, literal baby, 9 months, that I spent working on it, and then the 3 weeks I spent editing it, hardcore editing, like 40-hour weeks editing this manuscript, to realize that it wasn't going to be my first book. That it was the first book I wrote, yes, but it wasn't going to be my first book that I publish. That instead I was going, currently, to be going with this new idea. Not new, it's something I'd been working on in my brain and writing in a journal, alongside the book I had written. It was my fun project, my fun writing while I did my serious writing, because as you do something that's been a hobby that you've been passionate about for years, you don't want to burn out with it. So I was exploring this fun, crazy idea on the side as I was working on my serious writing, which was still a fantasy novel, because I'm a sucker for fantasy. But I realized that this other story over here on the side that I'd been working on would work much better as a debut novel, rather than the series that I had been working on, that I'd been pouring my heart out into. I was pouring my heart out into both, but this one, the series, had been my work baby. And the fun, crazy idea had been my fun, creative passion baby. It's what I was passionate about, me exploring writing. And while this idea also started out that way, I was finding that while I finished it and it was done and it was ready to be sent to my editors, that I wasn't going to send it, and that instead I was going to focus on a new idea. And so while I'm working on this new idea, while I'm crafting it and building it, I've decided to document my journey with it, so that I can look back on everything and see how I'm growing and see how I'm learning, and that I can offer advice to other people along the way. So, which idea do you pick? That was the topic of that subject. Which idea do I go with? How do I find a good idea and run with it? Well, what I've always done with ideas that have popped into my brain is I put them into my idea book. So it's a little journal. I should have grabbed it. I'll grab it for the next one. Maybe I'll do a little idea book tour sometime, or show you how I do it. But I write down the idea, and then I write down a bit of a more detailed idea for it, and then I write a basic 3-act outline for it, so that I have a bit of a base idea on how the story would work, and then I close the book. Close it. You close the book. You leave the ideas to fester. And so that you don't forget them. And they're still there. They're still there for you to go, you can open the book, you can read them, and you can use them later down the road without being like, oh, how am I going to remember this idea? Like, do I just jot down a little bit of it and hope that I remember the details I wanted to write about? Or, oh, you know, I forgot it. Oh, I was going to use that for my next book. But no, they're all there. They're all there. They're safe. They're sound. They're written down. And they're there for you to use later. And so from those ideas, you pick the one that you're really passionate about at the moment, and that makes sense for your image as an author or the feel that you're wanting to go for. And you've also got to think about what's kind of doing well in the market. Don't write to market, and that's never a good idea. No one's ever going to be the next write the next Harry Potter or the next Hunger Games or things like that. Like, knockoffs are never as good as the original. But at the same time, there are things that do well in the market. Like, there's certain genres of fantasy that do well during different times, or thrillers, or romances. You just have to look at the trends and see, is this going to be a smart idea for me to do right now? And sometimes you just say, I don't care. And you write it and you publish it anyways, and it might do really well, and that's awesome. But you also have to be smart about things. So that's kind of how I rationalize my idea picking. I figure out what I'm going to be passionate about, what I think is going to do well, what fits my image as what I want to portray myself as an author, what kind of feel and vibe I want to be. And yeah, so that's that. And I think those are some of the first hurdles that I've kind of come across. I don't even want to talk about, like, writer's block. That's scary. Ugh. That's a hurdle that's reoccurring. You always face that hurdle. It likes to run up from behind. You know, you've already jumped over it. You know, you jump over it, you run, 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 but then it comes back and bites you in the butt because it can, and it will. It inevitably will. And maybe someday I'll make a video on how I overcome writer's block. But that is not this video, because I said so. But yeah, so I've been talking for several minutes, and I think I've said all that I wanted to say. But yeah, I hope that you would want to join me on this journey, that maybe we can learn together, maybe I can help you, maybe you can help me, please help me, I need help, and that we can form this fun little community together of people striving to achieve their dreams. But yeah, again, my name is Xanna Renae. Click like and subscribe and leave a comment down below and let me know what you think, and I will talk with you again soon. Bye bye.